So to some of my YouTube people out there, y'all probably seen this thumbnail earlier and was wondering what the hell does Tommy Egan and Daryl Dixon have in common to even warrant being on the same thumbnail as one another. To my TikTok people, this is the first time y'all seeing this and y'all probably asking the same question. All I'm gonna say on that is to let me cook. This video may or may not go to a lot of different places, but I promise it all comes back to this problem that I'm talking about in the thumbnail. Earlier today, I seen a post from the actor who plays Daryl Dixon, Norman Reedus, where he's basically saying that this is the final day he will be filming for Daryl Dixon. This being a reference for his final day filming as the character of Daryl Dixon on the Walking Dead spinoff, The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, which is going into its 4th and final season. Hearing this as a previous Walking Dead fan, it was definitely bittersweet. I had a lot of love for Daryl when I was really enthralled in The Walking Dead. He was one of my favorite characters on the show, and he wasn't just one of my favorite characters. The fan base loved Daryl. I'm trying to tell y'all. If you were a fan of The Walking Dead when the series at its peak viewership, then you know that Daryl Dixon is a character who per season was getting more and more popular with the fan base. Proof is in the pudding. Not only did my son get his own spin-off series, the shit is named after him. Another character whose popularity has grown past its original series is Tommy Egan, a character who was beloved in his original series, so beloved in fact that he got his own spin-off not named after him, but it might as well be named after him with everything he's able to pull off in this show. The amount of plot armor Tommy Egan has needs to be studied. I was watching a video today from Mr. Power Universe, shout out to him, where he highlighted the fact that in the entirety of the Power franchise, I'm talking OG Power going into Force, we have never seen this man Tommy behind bars. If we want to take it a step further, we haven't even really seen Tommy in harm's way like that his whole time in this franchise. You tell me a time when you was watching Power where you was worried about what was going to happen to Tommy Egan. I'll wait. Drop it in the comments right now. You can't. It never happened. In this Mr. Power Universe video, he basically asked, how is Tommy still alive? All the bodies he's responsible for, all the people that he screwed over throughout the entirety of his time on Power. How is bro still alive and telling his story till this day? I mean, even in the final season of Power Force, we know Tommy's story is not over with. Coming from Joseph Sikor's mouth himself, Tommy's journey does not end in Chicago. We already got told that him and Tariq will be linking up for another Power spinoff called Power Legacy coming real soon, hopefully. So yeah, Tommy is going nowhere anytime soon, despite everything that he's done throughout these series. I'm giving a lot of exposition right now, but just stick with me. We about to get to the point, I promise. If Daryl dies, we riot. This is a real quote that the fan base was screaming at the height of The Walking Dead's popularity. I'm trying to tell y'all, Daryl was super loved by the fans to the point where if he died, they was going to crash out. Mind you, in a world like The Walking Dead where people get dropped off on an episode-to-episode basis, Daryl, they did not want to get touched. I found this picture on Facebook. They first posted this in 2014. 11 years later, this man got his own spin-off series and is now filming his final scene for the character of Daryl Dixon. As we see, after 11 years, the character of Daryl Dixon did die, as far as we know. See, Norman Reedus said it will be his last time filming the character Daryl Dixon. He didn't really confirm whether or not bro is gonna die by the end of the series. All we know, Daryl can go riding off into the sunset, and the series would have decided to never kill the character off. I do think Tommy has a similar love from the franchise as well. I genuinely believe that if Tommy was killed off in the next episode of Force, he would lose viewership not just from Force, but from the Power franchise, period. He's a character that, similar to Daryl, became more and more beloved as the seasons passed. So much so that he's about to feature on another spinoff, who some might call the face of the Power franchise going forward. I mentioned some similarities between these two characters already. They're beloved. They both have their own spinoff series from their original series. But another similarity between the two is the fact that they're both Deuteragonists in their OG series. I know it's some of y'all who've seen the word Deuteragonist who heard me just say it. It's like, what the hell is a Deuteragonist, J-Swab? Let me put you on. Shout out AI overview on the definition. A Deuteragonist is the second most important character in a story, ranking just behind the protagonist. Unlike the antagonist, the Deuteragonist is not necessarily an enemy, but plays a crucial supporting role, often undergoing their own story changes and development. And these two do exactly that in their original series, supporting both Rick Grimes and Ghost respectively. Not always agreeing with the way they've gone about things, not always being on the best terms with these protagonists. At some point or another in the series, being there to support them through their vices and having their own compelling story arcs while doing so. So much so to the point where these characters became their own protagonists in their own spin-off series. Now, this level of love that fans come to have with these characters takes years to build. Characters of Tommy Egan and Daryl Dixon have been around for a decade plus now. They've held this status and level of importance within their own series for this amount of time, if not longer. Importance so stacked, plot armor so crazy that you could put them on the level of the protagonists that they were supporting. And if you really wanted to, you could put them ahead of those two characters because they both outlived them, if we're being honest. Now, as far as I know, I stopped watching Walking Dead at the season 10 mark. But as far as I know, Rick Grimes is still alive, but he was removed from the OG series to go tackle other projects associated with The Walking Dead, while Daryl still remained with the OG cast members on the OG show and had his own spinoff. And yeah, I know what a lot of y'all go say, well, Rick had his own spinoff too. did not last nearly as long as Daryl's did, and Rick is the main character of the Walking Dead franchise. We're talking about power. We already know what happened to James St. Patrick. I don't gotta repeat that unfortunate news. But Tommy has been kicking since the death of James St. Patrick and really has not been worried about nothing. This man gotta know he's the main character, because how can you do all these people the way you have throughout the original Power and Power 4 and still sleep with both eyes closed? I don't understand it. So now with all the background laid out, knowing who these characters are, how they stack up next to their respective protagonists, and what they mean to the fan base, we can now finally talk about the Deuteragonist problem. And it all goes back to the question from Mr. Power Universe that I talked about earlier on in this video, in terms of what is the direction for Tommy Egan's character. Obviously, we know he's not going anywhere in Power Force, but how long is he going to last in Power Legacy? I'm not wishing death on the character of Tommy Egan or anything like that, and I understand these are TV shows at the end of the day. They can have Daryl Dixon and Tommy Egan last as long as they want to. The problem for me comes when a character like Tommy or Daryl are surviving things that they just should not be surviving at this point. Which is another point that Mr. Power Universe got to in his video, where it's like Tommy's dropped off so many people, he's done all these things, and yet he hasn't seen the back of a jail cell yet. Daryl has lived all these years in the Walking Dead universe. He's seen so many characters that came in at the same time as him get killed off. So many characters that came after him get killed off. Hell, characters that was probably introduced in season 3 of The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, died before Daryl even died. I know the show's named after him, but that's not the point. The point is these characters seem invincible, and I think the popularity of these characters plays a big part in that. Which is insane when you think about it, because these are two characters that have no other media before the original series that they were a part of. Daryl wasn't even a part of the Walking Dead comics, and he's as beloved as he is, as is Tommy. But at some point, it does get to become a little unrealistic how they are still around in their own respective series. On top of that, the longer they stick around and have their own respective spin-off series, the more you probably will have to pay them. I can't imagine either of these actors not running up a bag when it comes to playing these characters that are known and well-loved by many. Maybe they take a pay cut here and there, but they still getting paid at the end of the day. Big buck. Like, I just can't see Justice Secor not getting paid similar numbers to what Mario Hardwick thought he should be getting paid. Stars decided they wanted to keep him after the death of Ghost. I only said death of Ghost because some of y'all out here still believe brother is still alive. Really, this is only a problem for those that think in reality, and for the ones who have to constantly pay these A-list actors to continue reprising their roles as these loved characters. And for the writers, because now you have to think of a clever way to take out Tommy. How are you going to do that? With all the things he survived already, how are you going to take out Tommy Egan? Because realistically, in this game, you rarely see people are able to leave it without catching a bullet. Tommy's definitely caught a bullet before. But I mean, this bullet is going to be the one to put him 6 feet under. I guess when the writers decide it's time to go, it's time to go. But will the consumers actually believe it when it's his time? You already see people not believing that Ghost is dead and he's been gone for 5+ years now. Maybe it won't be at the level of the if Daryl dies, we riot when Tommy finally does get clipped. I do see it being a similar feeling as it is right now, seeing that Norman Reedus is leaving the Daryl Dixon character behind, at least for the immediate future. Whether or not he's dead remains to be seen. I have not watched The Walking Dead in years. I still can't think of a way for you to kill Daryl and the fans to be okay with it. I just feel like the character has survived so much, it's so hard to write in a death for a character like that. I felt the same way when Carl was dying in The Walking Dead. Like, how does bro get caught lacking by a walker? And you just want me to believe that? People were pissed when Carl died over that stupid shit. So for characters like Daryl and Tommy, you really got to go the extra mile to make their death super believable, but also send them out with the respect that they've deserved after all of the years that they put into these characters. No one's ever going to be satisfied, but it is tough to handle a Deuteragonist that's been around for as long as these two characters have been. In the worlds that they live in, like, there's no way Daryl Dixon is going to outlive the apocalypse in The Walking Dead. As far as I know, there's no cure for it, so eventually he is going to die. Hopefully it's by natural means, but 9 times out of 10, I mean, he's probably going to get bit by a walker at some point. And Tommy, the game that he's in, the game that he is continuously throwing himself in, at some point he's going to catch a bullet. Especially with the fact that he's now connected to Power Legacy. At least with Daryl, he could get ridden out into the sunset and just die off screen, which I don't know how fans would feel about that. Tommy, his death is definitely going to be on screen. There's no way around that. I say all this to say it's a slippery slope when you're dealing with Deuteragonists of this magnitude. The plot armor is on the level of the main characters of the original series. The popularity and love from the fan base, I do not envy the writers who have to determine the fate of these characters. All I can say is that it will be a sad day when neither Tommy Egan nor Daryl Dixon are on the big screen. Y'all let me know what y'all think of this little Deuteragonist problem that I brought up in this video. Do you think these characters have become bigger than death in a way that they have survived so much already? The fan base that they have, bringing the money that they do, to the point where these franchises are hesitant to take them off the board? Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you thought about the video below. If it's one thing that I could talk about for an endless period of time, it's The Walking Dead and Power. Until next time though, I'll be in Hoche Soft. We've been entertained, and we're gonna talk soon. Peace out.